It's Wednesday, and it's time for the Contrarians live chat. Tonight's topic, album cover doppelgangers. This is part 3. Who would have ever thought we'd do 3 of these? But we're doing another. We are small but mighty tonight, so let's go. All right, welcome to the... Oh, no, and I left the graphic up again. Well, I guess I'm going to...
That's your thing, man. That's what you do.
That's what I do. I get all worked up. Well, I'm going to take it down. Everybody here on the show, pretend you didn't see that. Because we want a surprise. Right. Anyway, welcome to the Contrarians. It's Wednesday. We are live, as you can tell, because the damn graphic was up. I'm just a monkey. Anyway, I want to welcome everybody. We are small but mighty tonight. But we've got some great picks. We want to hear from you in the chat. And we just want to keep it interactive. And really all we're trying to do is turn you on to stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Martin. Martin's going to give his spiel because that's what he does best. Martin, take it away.
Yeah, so there's only 3 of us here. We're going to try harder we've got some honorable mentions. I've got a few of what we call cheats. So as I mentioned, my couple or whatever that Grant's going to, very skillfully put up on the screen. I've got a couple of backup ones as well. We got some honorable mentions too, but and we always have to remember. I think we have to remember that this is about turning people on to these bands as well. So, look at it that way as well. It's not just about the album covers. It's, if we have any cool advice to give you about these records, we will certainly give that to you as well. So my first pick, we'll go 3-3-4 again. My first pick is Judas Priest, Ram It Down, and Status Quo, Never Too Late. There you go. So the idea here is, I've always thought these two kind of go together because you've got the big hand of God coming in on the world. And, they're both kind of political. Ram It Down is a little bit more abstract and universal, and Status Quo here, or Status Quo with Never Too Late is, the statement here is let's stop the arms race kind of thing, right? So I've got my copies here as well. So there's my Ram It Down with 3 of the guys signed on that. And we've got, I did pull out my copy of Never Too Late as well. On the front, and back, you just get a shot of the guys. But you do get the, they're out in the universe sort of thing. But so sort of for associated ones, I always thought of along this lines in a really notorious crappy way, is Jackal Cut the Crap. You've got, the hand of God coming in, about to unclip the safety pin on this diaper full of crap on the earth. So there's your Jesse James Dupree statement there. And then oddly enough, Status Quo, they went back to this missile idea. We don't got the world in this one, but we've got a missile taken off and it's actually a guy diving into the water there. And then we've got, along the same lines, I thought it's kind of weird that Status Quo went back to that well again. I don't have this many cheats for all of them. This is the most of them, of course. But they went back to the world thing for the great rockin' all over the world. I think that's probably their last great album of the golden period of Quo. And then I always thought this one kind of lined up as well. We've got the rainbow. The rainbow coming around the big world thing there. So that's my first one. My second one, I don't have the physicals of, I've got a physical of Status Quo on the level and the Jam All Mod Cons. But my Status Quo is right directly above me because it's signed by 2 of the guys and sitting on this little ledge above my desk here. But I always like this because we've got Status Quo in the standard sort of optical illusion room where they can look big or small. The Jam isn't in one of those rooms, but I always put these two kind of together. And I like poetically the fact that I'm back to Status Quo again for my second choice. And these are both bands that were massive in the UK and didn't make much of a imprint on America at all. And then I thought for sort of cheats, I didn't pull these out as well, but it's funny that that This Is a Modern World by the Jam sort of goes this way as well. It's got a bit of the same look. And then that takes you over to Ramones' Leave Home, which kind of has the same look with the same perspectives kind of thing. So that's my second one. And my third one is just a straightforward twofer here. We've got Judas Priest Painkiller and Meatloaf Bat Out of Hell. So they both got the big motorcycle coming out of the, the apocalyptic thing. And then Meatloaf, of course, on Bat Out of Hell too. They brought back the motorcycle again for that one. I'm sure we could probably have done a whole show on just the motorcycle motif like this. But yeah, I always thought it was kind of funny how the Meatloaf and the Painkiller sort of look the same. Before we turn it over to Jamie, let's see who's here with us. Wow, we got 59 already.
We got a lot of people here, but
ready. So we've got Nuclear Assault, Handle with Care, goes along with Martin's first set. Absolutely. This is Owen Warland, Led Zeppelin, House of the Holy, Roxy Music, Siren.
Yeah, that's that's a good one. That's the blue cover with Jerry coming out of the was she a mermaid or what?
Yeah, that's great. That's a good one. Thanks for that. Testament New World Order would work. Let's see. We got Kyle with us, Michael with us, Logan with us, Bicycle Legs, Daniel's here. Let's see Daniel here. Elder of Rock is back.
The Elder.
Corner. Let's see. All right, so let's turn it over to Jamie for your first three.
All right. Yeah. My first one, I have a Let's Get Physical page on Facebook where we talk about everything physical media. If you want to join, send me a request and I will accept you. And a while back, like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 months ago, somebody posted a picture of an album he was listening to, George Harrison, Living in the Material World. And I took a screenshot on my phone. I said, holy crap, that looks like System of a Down self-titled album. If we ever do this Doppelgängers thing again, I'm going to use that. So I took a screenshot of it.
That's a good one.
That's a great one, man. That's a winner. I've never seen anybody bring that one up before.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Jamie, it was so perfect, I had to use it in the thumbnail. So
I thought the guy was listening to a remix version of the System of a Down album with a slightly different cover or something.
It looks like.
Hey, I got a good cheat for that one. Judas Priest, British Steel. Hold same hand, right? But on black background, but holding the razor blade, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my first one.
That's
my second one, I'm bringing up Meatloaf again, Bat Out of Hell 2, and a newer album.
Yeah.
Helms Deep.
Wow.
Treacherous Ways.
That's almost the same
damn
cover.
Look at that.
Copying. That's just copying.
That.
Yeah.
That was on purpose, right?
It had to be. It had to be.
But nobody brings it up. I read reviews on that Helms Deep album, and no one ever brought up the cover as copying Meatloaf. Everyone just pretends like it's original. I don't know. That's the lead singer of Raven, right? And in that Helms Deep, I've never heard it. John Gallagher.
Okay.
Yeah, he put together that traditional metal album.
Good job. Nice.
And then my other ones I came up with, a lot of them in my collection, and I noticed it's a lot easier to do it this time than our previous two because I was going about it a different way. I was trying to think in my head and then go find the albums. But I learned as we do these shows, all I got to do is look at a few albums, and about every 10th album, I'm like, oh, that looks like something. So I just do it in about every 10th album.
Yeah.
So I came across REO Speedwagon Hits. I'm like, you know what? It's kind of like Fart Corporation with the 3-dimensional rock formation.
Kinda.
Yeah. Just kind of a dark background and the 3-dimensional letters.
That's cool. Yeah.
So,
both of those records, though, Jamie, I look at them as like they didn't try very hard. That's what it says in my brain.
Yeah. Funny.
I mean, even REO, it wasn't up to REO. It's a greatest hits. They probably couldn't care less, but really? That's all.
Well, look at this. We got Count Ralphus coming in with the new Kerry King looking like the new Deicide, almost identical. That's pretty funny.
Ooh,
yeah, these metal ones, I'm not very inspired by metal album covers anymore. They're just too illustrated, right? 2112 and Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. Pretty funny. I can picture that one.
That's because I posted that today, Logan.
Oh, okay. Masterless. Linda Thompson's latest album is called Proxy Music and parodies the cover of Roxy Music debut. So more intentional than most of your picks. Pretty cool. We still haven't done the fully intentional show, have we?
No.
But Count Ralphus has brought up Grim Reaper, See You in Hell, NBOC Some Enchanted Evening. Pretty cool. A little more bluish to call coming later. We can add Gentle Giant Freehand on Jamie's list. Pretty cool. Metallica Hardwired and Crowbar's Oddfellows Rest. Wow, I got to compare those, Brian. Awesome.
Yeah,
nice. I can't picture Oddfellows Rest right now. I used to interview Kirk and those guys all the time. Or yeah, and write bios for them. Even. Okay, so over to Grant.
All right, here we go. Once I get there. All right. So if you tuned in early, I kind of spoiled the party, as I always do, because I have to set everything up. Excuses. It's just a fail. Hey, my first pick, I'm going to go with Sammy Hagar Unboxed and Ted Nugent. If you can lick 'em, lick 'em.
Perfect. Yeah. And Ted and Sammy are buddies, right? They record together.
I think Sammy's had Ted on his show, but it's very similar. I think it's great. No one's brought that up yet. And hell, I'm going to go with it.
Excellent. Good one.
My second one. Now, for some reason, all right, you can tell me in the chat if I'm off on this, but I want to hear from everybody. I'm going to go with Y&T. This is like a best of album cover, and then you've got Uh-oh. We've got a problem from Canada, ladies and gentlemen. Brace yourselves. But anyway, I'm going to go with Black Oak, Arkansas, and I'm going to go with the Y&T cover. I mean, they're both kind of sepia, well, not really sepia tone, but they're kind of lit the same way. I saw the Black Oak, Arkansas album cover, and it kind of reminded me of, well, actually, whoever chose the Y&T cover, that cover reminded me of the Black Oak, Arkansas cover, so I picked it, and, well, there we are. You know.
It works.
Very simple, ladies and gentlemen. So that's my number 2. My number 3, see, I do all my picks last, so I can see what everybody else is choosing, and then when everyone chooses something, then I go, wow, that's a good one. And this may come out later, but I'm going to go with, I'm not going to say who picked the outfield, but I went, that outfield's cover looks like the Naked Eyes album cover to me. Yeah. And there you go, Naked Eyes and the outfield.
I have that outfield paired up with something else coming up.
Well, it's one of you two gentlemen. I'm not going to throw it out there yet, but immediately I saw that. Well, that's the Naked Eyes cover.
Crazy.
So there you go. So
you guys are hearing me okay?
Yeah, yep. You sound great.
I don't know what happened there. My
StreamYard
just shut off for a second there, and then fortunately is very smooth getting back on. What else we got here? For something, Def Leppard's Pyromania and Crocus One Vice at a Time. Pyromania and one, but yeah, maybe a little, yeah. Let's see. Nothing much else coming in. Just we're blaming Trudeau for kicking me off.
Should we blame him?
Yeah, well, he needs to be blamed for a lot of things right now. He's got right now. He's dealing with the we're not spending 2% of GDP on NATO. Kicking post thing he's dealing with right now.
Is this the time I should ask you, Martin, why it's so expensive to shipping in Canada? If I order something from Canada, it's very expensive, and if I have to ship there, it's expensive.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right, and shipping to here too. I fortunately for my whole books thing, I have a whole U.S. media mail thing set up with a mailing house. But you're right. I mean, I don't even ask labels to ever send me anything anymore because it's like $30. Because Canada is basically considered an international country, right? But a bigger issue up here is Toronto just made the list at number 9 of the 10 most impossibly expensive cities in the world, with Vancouver making number 3 out of 10.
Wow.
So we've got a bad housing price crisis up here.
My gosh, I had no idea.
Canada. Oh yeah. So anyways, enough of that. Enough Trudeau, enough politics. Let's move on. Where were we? Were you finished?
I'm done. It's you. You're next.
Okay, so my next one is Graham Parker and the Rumor, the Parkerilla, and Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon. So there's my Ozzy. So we know the whole story about what a pain in the butt it was getting into that costume for Ozzy. It took hours and hours, and of course he probably was a little tired or a little something else. For him to deal with that is probably tough for him to deal with in the state he was probably in. most of the time. And then Parkerville, I always hated this cover because it just makes Graham Parker look way too creepy.
It's weird.
It's weird for a live album too, and even just to call a live album Parkerville. I mean, it's kind of a good title, but it's weird for a live album. It makes no sense at all.
You know, when I was a kid, I always thought that he looked like a werewolf. Is that the whole idea?
That's the idea. Yeah, that's why I picked those two as werewolf, right? And then I thought we've got Grant on the show, so we have to have a little April wine in here. So I had a backup, Miles Goodwin, presumably. As turning into not a werewolf but a were-lion.
So that's number 5. Where is that? Oh, that was forget it.
That was a cheat.
Throwing me off.
Okay, so my next one is Humble Pie Smokin' and Cheech Chong or Cheech and Chong or
Cheech and Chong.
Ampersand Chong. It's every different way. Believe me, I know, because we were massive fans as kids. We had all of these albums. But yeah, so and I've got my smoking out here. So yeah, the idea here is obviously the bottom one is made to look like rolling papers for rolling, certain things. And I think this kind of looks like it too, and it even suggests smoking. And then as a cheat, I thought I had a cheat here for this. I don't have it handy, but maybe I didn't have a cheat. What was the other one? Maybe I didn't. Okay, so moving on, we're sticking with Humble Pie. We've got Humble Pie, As Safe As Yesterday Is, and Brownsville Air Special. If you can figure out what the similarity is here, you are very perceptive. But I just wanted to mention Air Special is really the only hard rock Brownsville Station album. It was actually pretty good. And they're just called Brownsville on that. I think it's a 1978 album. And Humble Pie, on the other hand, is quite mellow, right? But for a Brownsville Station album, that is when they literally tried to be a hard rock band. They probably figured, look how good Aerosmith and Ted Nugent and Kiss are doing. We got to try participate in that. We started that. We are here from Detroit, or somewhere around Michigan. And this is when they tried to do that. And a cheat for this was something I think we put up previously. I don't have my physical of it, but it's that Captain Beefheart album. Why am I not seeing it here? The Captain Beefheart album, what, not Unconditionally Guaranteed, is it? Anyways, there's one that looks like it, and there's also a Jefferson Starship that looks
this
wrapped up. Yeah, there you go. Wow, you had that handy.
Well, that's because it's one of my picks, but since you already mentioned it, we'll just talk about it now.
Yeah, and Free has one, right? I hope that's not the doppelganger for you. I think Free has something that looks.
No, this is because I built it off of what you said, and I went, well, I know that there's an album by Beefheart that's like that, so I just there you go.
Cool, nice. Okay, that's my next 3. On to Jamie.
All right.
This next one we spoke about last show, real quick, but I thought we'd put up the graphics of it. Bonham. Disregard of Timekeeping, and Pantera, Cowboys from Hell.
Yeah, actually,
there they are hanging out in the bar.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
you got one guy jumping up and one guy kind of floating in the air. So,
yeah. And
this next one, now that I think about it, we might have brought this up before.
I don't think so.
Wild Cherry, self-titled, and Sammy Hagar 3 Lockbox.
I don't recall that.
Familiar. We might have talked.
I don't remember it.
No?
Yeah, it's so obvious that someone had to pick that one, and everyone loves Sammy Hagar, so
yeah,
I don't know. But if not,
come on, everybody likes Wild Cherry, for God's sakes, Jamie. What are you trying to say?
No, sirree. The next one's a couple chicks that had some hits in the 90s.
You can't say chicks today, Jamie.
Oh, jeez. A couple of fine young women.
There
I hope
you
it's
go.
Indigo Girls, because I love the Indigo Girls.
Some broads.
Todd Evans loves the Indigo Girls, so be careful.
Yeah,
I have their one album that charted or whatever, the one popular one. Sinead O'Connor and Fiona Apple.
Okay.
Pretty damn close. Similar kind of music, 90s,
They're probably from the same photo session, and they just got lazy, and the label says, just make it close up. No one will know the
Well,
difference.
this is 6 years later. So,
Yeah, because isn't the other one the Sinead's 87, I think?
no, not that one.
Or
You're
is it-
thinking of the Lion and the Cobra.
Oh, so this is like 90?
90. That one's
All right.
90.
Okay, I'm really going to test your memory here or your skills at this doppelganger thing. But isn't there some other album
Yep.
where there's a guy looking really cheesy where it's like, you know, the light is only on this band across his eyes? He's standing.
Isn't that
Bon Jovi, 7,800 degrees Fahrenheit.
well, that's one.
no,
that's another
Angel
one.
City. Angel.
City's a bit like that. That's not the one I was thinking of either. But I'm almost picturing two people on it, but there's probably a few of those. So, anyways,
Did White Lion have something with just eyes on it?
maybe.
No.
Grant, have we lost you?
No,
Oh, you're there.
my wife's in the other room drilling something,
Oh, yeah.
and it's making noise, and she knows we're live, and
That's what that sound was earlier. Okay.
yeah.
all right.
Well, I'm a bit concerned. What's happening?
right. Well, let's just take a look over to our comments. We've got the Elder of Rock has mentioned, "Hey, Dixie Chips dropped Dixie from their name, not chicks, so it's okay."
Yeah. See, Angel City. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Let's make a dope deal. Yeah, Cheech and Chong. I mean, were you guys into those guys? We were so into
I remember Sister Mary Elephant. We kind of played that in 8th
I love the
grade.
Christmas song.
all of that stuff and all the Monty Python stuff, but I guess I'm a little older than you guys. So. Chris Rock had an album that parodied all the Cash Money label rap albums. Gabriel and Collins had some similar ones. Face Pictures, pretty cool. Yeah, it'd be interesting to compare that. Led Zeppelin 2 and Doggy Style 2. Let's see what else we got.
Doggy Style.
Bamboo, the giant rolling papers I still have. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Budgie Squawk and AC/DC Monsters of Rock bootleg, both covered, but the playing are different directions. Pretty cool. Beatles Let It Be, Gorillaz Demon Days. Wow, lots of good ones coming in. Good stuff.
I think that was we did that one last time.
All right. So Jamie, was that your 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. On to Grant.
All right, here we go. Once I get ready. All right. So, well, I kind of already did one, but all right, here we go. I'm going to go. Okay, I brought up Naked Eyes before, but I'm going to bring up Naked Eyes again because we've got both the Talking Heads and the Naked Eyes. Now, the reason I brought these both up is that both of these are a collection of images to build a composite image.
Nice.
Look at me. Look at how creative I am in the.
Very cool.
Everyone in the chat, see how creative I am? I figured that out. But anyway, it's a great example because it's a composite. Even though the images don't look the same, but it's the same idea. So I like that.
Nice.
Okay, here we go. And this one I based it off of what Martin brought up. But then I thought, I'm looking at that one logo and I'm going, that rings a bell. Now, no one else is going to bring this up because no one knows who this band is. But Smokin' kind of reminds me of Capital City Rockers, which was a Columbus band, which Jamie's going to go pull it because he's in the Columbus area.
Just go ahead. I just wanted to check something.
So, if anybody knows, you going to pull it?
No, I was looking at this to see how much similarity.
Oh, okay. Well, Eric
Nice.
Moore. If anybody's familiar with Eric Moore, who was in the Gods and they are a rock and roll machine, Eric Moore, this came out in 73. Eric Moore was in the band Capital City Rockets. So, throwing that out there.
Yes.
That's what I thought. Eric Moore, because we
You,
are
Eric,
all.
you've heard my story of going down there and partying with the American Dog guys and then being very hungover to interview Eric Moore. Went over to his house, sat on his bed, hung over his
I don't know that story.
Oh, yeah. Got all my stuff signed. And then he came out, I believe I think it was when he was still alive. He came out to a gig American Dog played where, was it a gig combined with me getting interviewed on stage at the great Rhythm and Brews, Route 60, at Wapakoneta, right?
We call that Walpaw in Ohio.
Yeah, so that the great roadhouse there. But yeah, that's my my Eric Moore story. So
what year was that? Probably, I don't know. Do you remember?
You know, I played all the way down and all the way back on the drive, Buzzcock's Flat Pack Philosophy. So whatever year that came out, probably, because I love that.
Isn't it funny? I know I'm going to go on a tangent a bit, but isn't it funny that you can remember, and I do the same thing, that if you do like a road trip, an extended road trip, you can remember exactly what was on your playlist for a certain thing.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
You know how I remember what year I got married? 9 Inch Nails with Teeth came out that year. We were playing it at the wedding.
I remember 1983. We got time. We only have 3 people. 1983, I drove to Florida to my grandparents' house. And on that trip, I played Police Synchronicity and Bryan Adams' Cut Like a Knife over and over again.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, those were my big records in 83. I love both of those records. And I distinctly remember playing them on cassette. Oh my God. So great. Anyway, that's awesome. All right. I'm still, no, that's my 2.
Okay.
Well, this is kind of my 3rd one. I'll bring it up again. So we got Captain Beefheart, and then we've got Brownsville Station. And I just hopped on what Martin said, but just to keep it in 3 and keep everything. Well, I'll just mention that again. So let's keep going.
Yeah, and like I say, I think there's a free album that lines up with this as well, but I can't.
I will mention this. There's going to be a free album that pops up again during this show.
Okay. All right. So my next, my final 4 kick off with Kate Bush, the Red Shoes, and Electric Light Orchestra, El Dorado. You know, you've got your Kate Bush there and your El Dorado there. And we've got, Wizard of Oz, the ruby slippers, which were originally silver in the book, and then Red Shoes is ballet slippers. And I couldn't find any more. I kept thinking there's got to be 1 or 2 more, but I couldn't find anything else that lines up with this. But yeah, these look great together. It's kind of cool when you see some of these doppelgangers together. And then my next one is Testament, Souls of Black, and Blue Oyster Cult, Fire of Unknown Origin. So there is my fully signed, framed up. Upside down, right side up. There we go. The Fire of Unknown Origin with the passes in there. Maybe the passes actually will show while Grant figures out the graphics.
Well, it's that thing. I've mentioned this in this show before. Sometimes I load them all up and then they disappear. There it is.
They're back. So there's your obvious. We've got the Oyster Clan here, and we've got the whatever Testament. What is that? The Red Heart Clan. So yeah, we've got. Oh yeah, well look at that. So one's holding an oyster and one's holding a red heart. So there you go. And then my next one, I thought this one was actually kind of cool. We've got April Wine, Forever for Now, and Tease. And I've got a good cheat one here.
God, I hope that's the right Tease album.
So the idea here is that these Canadian bands like these bursting out at you logos. And Tease put themselves into theirs. Now, the story about this album is really kind of cool. This is quite a heavy album for 1976. It's really well recorded, even though they thought they were making a demo and the label said, no, that sounds good. We're using it. So this is actually a quite a heavy album for 1976. It's their first album. It's kind of an indie. But yeah, you've got that, and the April Wine has the logo coming at you. And there was another small kind of obscure Canadian band that did the same thing, Rush. Look at that. So they have people bursting out at you as well. So this is kind of a thing. And kind of Triumph goes a little bit down that road as well, although a little more subtly. But I thought it was just kind of funny that was used a bunch of times. And my last one is Budgie, Never Turn Your Back on a Friend, and Uriah Heep, the Magician's Birthday. And the funny thing about this one is that it looks to me like Roger Dean. So Roger Dean started off with the lower one. Actually, yeah. So these are both. How does that work? I'm not sure when these came up because Budgie is 73 as well. So it's all close. But the interesting thing is that he used basically the mirror image of the same, figure in action in these two things. One is wrestling a budgie and one is just like wrestling with his demons or fighting that magician way off in the background, or it's the demon in the background. Hang on. What do we got here? Yeah, so he's a magician. Yeah, this is Magician's Birthday, but I had also as a cheat, I thought it was kind of funny that even Demons and Wizards had somewhat the same sort of figure. So Roger Dean, almost as a bit of a crutch, or thought, it looks kind of cool on all three of these, 2 for Heap in the same year, and the Budgie used kind of the same figure on that. And that is my final 4. I do have some honorable mentions, but I'll do that later. Let's just go quickly over to the chat. Bobby Charles and Wings Wildlife. We can't picture that one. Street Rockers, Red Card, and Quo Hello. Interesting. The Cars self-titled and Peter Gabriel 1 car.
That works.
Cool. Yeah. Nice. The Professionals, I didn't see it coming. Fist Back with a Vengeance. Whoa, William Walker's coming with the rarities here.
No.
Terra, Vulgar Display of Power. William Walker again. Manowar, Triumph of Steel, and Sabotage, Handful of Rain. Yep. Absolutely. That's a great one, actually. That's really cool. Chrome Destiny has brought up Kate Bush, Hounds of Love, and Bloodhound Gang, Hefty Fine. I always thought Hounds of Love went pretty nicely with that Hounds album as well. The second and last Hounds album, which I featured before. Free Self-Titled and Lord Solar Power.
Damn it.
That's not BOC. Joe Jackson looks sharp. Lines up with El Dorado. Pretty cool. All right, over to Grant.
All right, here we go.
Or is it me?
No, it's you. I'm last. You're next.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you see me yawning, I was at a death metal show late last night. So I'm
Who played last night?
still feeling it. I saw Tomb Mold and Horrendous.
Where at?
Ace of Cups. And I pulled
Ace of Cups.
Martin Popoff and got my whole CD signed by the whole band.
Nice.
You didn't go see, I know we're on a tangent, but you didn't go see Sebastian Bach at Ace of Cups, did you?
No, I'm not a big fan of Skid Row.
Come on now. It's Sebastian Bach.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Now, was this old school death metal or the new futuristic hardcore death progressive crazy stuff?
Horrendous is much like Death. Like if Death would have stayed together and kept making albums, they would have been making albums, I think, what Horrendous is doing now. Tomb Mold was ridiculous. The drummer sings, and the musicianship wasn't bad, but the vocals were constant. Whoa, not even words, just white noise of growl.
Right.
It was ridiculous.
I've never been to Ace of Cups. Is it in the same building that the R&R was?
It used to be a bank.
It used to be a bank.
Yeah, down on High Street. Not too
I
far
thought the
away.
Ace of Cups was like over in Worthington or something.
No, it's only about a mile down from campus on High Street.
See, I don't leave the house, ladies and gentlemen, so that's why I don't know. But I know what bank you're talking about.
For concerts, love that place. Saw
Yeah.
so many great bands there. I'm going again a couple more times this year. All right. This next one, I came across Genesis selling England by the pound. And I thought,
Nice.
E for the Tellerman.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Same color frame around the tan thing going.
Yeah. Cool.
Good one.
Next one is kind of an obscure band. I grouped up with Y&T. There's all the guys, and girls holding up their lighters, and there's just one guy holding up his lighter with power. He was left out. He's like, "What about me?" Oh, we'll just put you in there, buddy. Nobody will know the difference.
No, it fit right in.
Yeah, I'll fit right in. This came out in the 90s. You can see very 90s looking. One good song. I Don't Care. Great song. The rest of the album, but it's worth having for that one song.
The bottom one is a Y&T show when Mean Streak was out, and the top one is a Y&T show when Contagious was out.
There you go.
Tudum-tum.
The next one, I came across Talking Heads Stop Making Sense. I'm like, I know another album with a suit on it.
Yeah.
The Kinks, UK Drive.
Nice.
Yep.
Kind of works.
Cool.
And my one I paired up with the outfield was Pete Townsend's Scoop.
See, there you go. That's where I went, and I went, that's Naked Eyes.
Great, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's real close.
Probably should have picked Scoop too because it's blue, but that's all right.
Yeah.
No big deal. It doesn't matter.
Do you want me to do honorable mentions now?
Sure, go for it.
Well, I don't
Okay.
care.
Marty,
Whatever.
you were showing pictures of the world. Van Crater world record. And Roger McGuinn back from Rio.
Oh, that Roger McGuinn album's great.
Yeah, surprise hit on it. What was the hit on this? King of the Hill?
King of the Hill, which wasn't it a Tom Petty song or something?
Yeah, Tom Petty wrote it or helped wrote it.
I saw McGuinn on that tour at the Newport. At the Newport, he was phenomenal.
Oh, okay. The new Bon Jovi I brought up last week. It's weird that the first Bon Jovi, he's out on the streets. The new Bon Jovi, he's out on the streets of the city again.
And one's probably a lot better than the other. Jamie's not going to say anything.
I like the new Bon Jovi. I don't like every single song, but the songs I like a lot.
Just there's somebody that likes Bon Jovi.
I don't listen to like New Jersey or I like 7,800 degrees Fahrenheit. This one's okay, and the new one's all right.
All right.
Midnight Oil, Blue Sky Mining.
Yep.
And Thunder and Lightning.
Holy crap, that's a good one.
That is so crazy. That's literally sitting in my my honorable mention pile right now.
Oh, really? These two?
That's so weird.
I thought this up like an hour and a half ago. Too.
Wow. Aren't you too cute?
And this one, cute? I can't believe I never brought this up before because I used to think that
proof.
Yeah. Look at that.
My goodness.
I used to think
I'm gonna tear up here in a minute.
I know. We bonded. We had a moment there. These two looked very similar to me when I was 12 years old, and I used to get them confused. And they came out the same year, 1982, The Nightfly, Donald Fagen, and I Can't Stand Still, Don Henley. And they both got matches.
Oh, my God. That's brilliant.
Good job, man. Yeah. Very nice.
Look at you. Man, you're hitting it out of the park.
Yeah. So
nice.
All
right, Grant, you've got your final four, right?
What? I must be a germaphobe. What are you talking about, William Walker? What would give you that indication? All right, here we go. It just cracks me up. Okay, here we go. My next one. I'm going to go with, we're going to go back to the 60s. Now, when I was doing the Beefheart one, that triggered another thought in my brain. And I thought, well, you know, Safe as Milk is a lot like the Byrds' Mr. Tambourine Man. We've got both band photos with a fisheye lens.
Nice.
I know it was the 60s and you know. So yeah, we're going to use a fisheye lens. So I thought that was a good one. And then, all right, I want to give Rand Kelly some props. I don't know if Rand is here, but Rand, absolutely brilliant. Because he sent me this and I went, oh my God, I have to use it. Mark Farner's first solo album and Beyonce, Renaissance.
Sweet.
Absolutely Rand Kelly hitting it out of the park. And I said, Rand, I got to use it. I've got to use it. This is probably the first time Beyonce's ever been mentioned on the Contrarians. So if this breaks the internet, it's my fault.
What about the Roger Daltrey solo album that kind of looks like that a little bit, right?
He is the horse, though.
Yeah, he is the horse, but this is the same concept. We've got Mark shirtless because he's always shirtless. Yeah. And Beyonce, well, she's not shirtless, but she might as well be. But absolutely great pick. And Rand gave me another one. Okay. Oh my God, Rand is hitting it out of the park. Both of these albums are the Roman numeral 5. And both have to do with sand. And I'm going, Rand, you're all over it. We're talking.
Wow.
What's the top? I can't even. I can't read what is it?
Spock's Beard 5.
Spock's Beard. And the one below it is
the X5.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So both are 5s, both in the sand. Look at the sky coloring and the sand. They're the same tonal within that whole tonal spectrum.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I have to give Rand some props because I was running out of ideas. So
you put that side by side, and the sand meets the sky might meet.
They might meet.
I mean, it could be the same artist for all we know, right?
Probably. They're all very, related to some degree. Yeah. My number 10, I'm going to go with the Beatles, Meet the Beatles. And did we ever talk about Dennis DeYoung?
Yeah.
Did we do that one before?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think we got this. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know if we did. I only know because of the Dennis DeYoung show we just did. So kind of rang a bell, and Rand thought, hey, throw that in too. So it's all good.
Nice.
But, it's very Meet the Beatles, Meet Dennis DeYoung.
Yeah, cool.
And then my honorable mention was mentioned already, and I think it was who was it? Oh, Bicycle Legs. Not happy about that because you took away my thunder. We're going to go with Lord. I don't know what the name of that album is. And then you've got the free album.
Yeah.
Now, I want to mention that Lord does have underwear on, so don't zoom in. You're not seeing anything. But there you go. Very similar.
Nice.
Surprised that hasn't ever been brought up. But of course, Bicycle Legs is tuned in to all the latest Lord albums. So we'll have to hand it to him.
All right. Very cool. So let me rattle off my honorable mentions. We've got Soul Asylum Hang Time. Okay. Get the theme there with Stranglers Giants. So there they are all hanging, the band. That's a great album cover. And then this one's made to be a little more subtle. And there's an Edgar Broughton band self-titled album that's a bunch of meat hanging in a meat locker, right? That reminded me of this one as well. So there you go. That's an honorable mention. And then we've got Queen Sheer Heart Attack with Metal Church, The Human Factor.
Oh, that's good.
And even over top, it's kind of the same color, right?
Yeah.
Kind of the same look, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got, this one's a bit of a stretch, but I had another one that kind of goes with it. Blue Oyster Cult Spectres with the lasers, and then Foghat Stone Blue, which, come to think of it, this goes with your Eyes one too, right? From earlier.
Yes.
But these guys got the cheap version of the lasers, the plastic plexiglass lights, lit up kind of thing. And then Triumph kind of did sort of the same thing on Progressions of Power a little bit. It's got a little bit of a band and laser vibe on it. And then I've got, I think this one came up before, so I didn't want to use it, but we've got the Doors, right?
Yeah. With
Stooges Funhouse. So you've got a superimposed picture of Iggy. How does that fit better here?
Or is it
the best way to? Yeah, there you go. So that's where you see the Iggy, the big Iggy, right?
Oh, I'll be darned. I never noticed. I never noticed that.
Yeah. And then the other Iggy, and then here you've got the big Jim, right? So yeah, and similar, obviously, time frame, and we know Iggy was somewhat based on Jim Morrison, right? And that's all I had to show for them. And I had a couple others that I didn't bring out the copies of, but U2 October and Echo and the Bunnymen. Echo and the Bunnymen have the same sort of band shot on them. Status Quo 12 Gold Bars, which is a compilation, and the Australian AC/DC Let There Be Rock both have a hand on a fretboard of a guitar. And then Montrose Mean and Foreigner Agent Provocateur. Montrose Mean has the big M, and we know the Agent Provocateur's got the big F on it, right? So that's all I had. Let's take another quick look here at the comments. Stooges debut is pretty close to the first Doors album too. Yeah, Iggy was a big Doors fan. Excellent. Chrome Destiny also has mentioned Zappa Hot Rats and Funkadella Free Your Mind and Your Ass Will Follow. Trout Mask Replica and You Can Tune a Piano. Interesting. Yep, absolutely. I can picture that. Let's see. Tinderbox by Susie and the Banshees and Stormbringer by Deep Purple use the same painting. That's right.
Oh, really?
Yep. London Calling in the first Elvis Presley. There's an intentional one for you. All right, there you go. Grant, you can wrap.
All right, I guess we're done. First of all, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. It's always fun to talk music, and we always appreciate everyone leaving comments and keeping it interactive. And like we talked about earlier, it's all about turning you on to this stuff. Maybe you want to go out and check out some of these records. We don't do this just for the heck of it. We do it because we love the music. But if you'd like to be a part of these panels, you always can be. We also have a Patreon. We have a lot of good interaction on there. You can feel free. The link's down below. You can join that. We also have merch. Buy yourself a shirt. At least a shirt. Buy something else. We would love for you to do that. We also have a Ko-fi. Buy us a pint or a cup of coffee. We'd love to have that. We also take donations. We do this because we love music. You know, it's just about turning you on, like we said. We're not trying to like make $1 million here. We just want to talk music. So anyway, we appreciate everyone here. Next week, I do believe, what is our topic next week, gentlemen?
It's massive album crap cover. So we're going to look at some of the biggest selling albums of all time that have some of the worst covers of all time.
There you go. So tune in next week, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We will be back. We want to see everybody back here again. So based on that, everyone have a good week. It's Wednesday. If we don't see you before the weekend, have a good weekend. So Jamie, Martin, we'll see you. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, folks.